Hey now. So, had a conversation the other day. Homosexual guy. And he was accompanied by a transgender Dominican. So now we have two conversations going because these are two subjects I like to touch on. First of all, I like to touch on the fact that every other race of people who has melanin in their skin, they like to identify as black or African American over here in America. And transgenders like to be called a woman. So let me touch on both of those real fast. Number one, a Dominican is a Dominican. That is just that, right? You're mixed with what? Spaniards or the Spanish and African, period. Most of them do not like to identify with the African side. They like to stay Dominican. So let them have that. Secondly, you're right. You're not black. Okay? So let's just keep that right there in that space. And the problem I have is this. When I look around at the African American community and how we have been neglected in the last 20 or 30 years, our communities, our educational status for our children in grammar school and upward. When I look at the economic status of majority of the African American community, most are in debt, be it student loan, a car note. Most do not own property, don't own a business. Struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe even struggling to have a roof over their head. And many say, oh, it's a lot of people who are struggling with that. Sure. Hold on. I'm not talking about other people. Okay? I'm talking about the African American community right now. Don't introduce anyone else's issues. Don't tell me who else is struggling. I'm not a fool. I know that everybody has issues. But what I'm saying is our issues have been neglected because of that right there. Every time we start talking about something we need or something we are going through, someone from another race, another class, or the same class that is of another race, or someone who is torn between other issues, they try to mesh their issues with our issues or our struggle, which then makes our struggle or our issue become watered down and put on the back burner. So we can't put the attention that is necessary on us becoming fruitful, right? Because our resources, everything we try to do for ourselves is always taken away or stripped. And someone else's issue is put either side by side with ours, and then it becomes the main focus, and ours kind of get shunned away. Okay, so don't talk to me about anybody else. I don't care about nobody else. I'm not talking about nobody else right now. Okay, again, so no, I do not see Dominicans, Mexicans, Indians, or any other race besides those of African heritage that claim their African nature. Okay, and I'm talking about Black Jamaicans. I'm talking about Black Haitians. I'm talking about Black Africans from the continent. That's who I'm talking about. And Black Americans, Black Brazilians, those who were maneuvered around the planet like product during slavery, those ones, that's who I'm talking about. Okay? So if that is not you, then do not mess yourself with us. Don't blend or, identify with a black person when it's convenient for you. Don't do that. Because who we are 9 times out of 10 is not your focus, or it's not even your concern. Most people like to big up their Mexican side or Dominican side or whatever that is, that Hispanic side, more than they do the African side. And that's fine. Do that. Own that, because that's your heritage. And I understand, because our history is not pretty. So many do not want to identify with it because it makes them feel less than. Okay, and that's understandable. That's understandable. It has been a heinous journey, and it continues to be one. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. For those who are proud of who they are, who are proud of where they come from, you don't need another race to identify with you. Our strength is in our ancestry. Our strength is in us still being here, constantly developing who we are. I don't know of people on this planet who could have endured and still enduring the mistreatment, oppression, and the degradation that blacks have gone through, those of African descent. I don't know none. I don't know any. You hear about the Holocaust, these people still break down and cry to this day. But we are still going through our Black Holocaust today, everywhere you look. It just look a little different because the guns 9 times out of 10 are in hands of people who look like ours. But if you look all the way up top, at the top of that political chain, if you look all the way at the top, all the way, just go all the way to the top, you'll see that it's somebody of European descent pulling your strings. But again, I say, no, you're not Black or African American. And I don't know about others, but I don't want you to be. Okay? I love who I am. I love my history. I am proud of my ancestry. I am proud of my DNA. This is strength, baby, all in itself. Okay? So you be whatever you are and stay that way, and don't be afraid to identify as it. No, don't get silent when they call you an African American or a Black woman. Please speak up and let them know that you are not Black. You are mixed. Please do that for us. Because then, once there's an issue with African Americans or Black people and your ass don't say nothing, we won't wonder why. We'll know why you didn't say shit. Okay? We'll know why that was not at the top of your list when you took office or when you began to take your journey as to what's important to you on your political journey. Okay? So we won't sit back and think that we have somebody whose face looks like ours that has our best interests at heart. We will understand that you are not fully for us. Okay? And all of y'all who are Black, who are in those positions, and you weak as hell, and you don't have a backbone, just shut up. Shut up. Go do something else with yourself. Because you're embarrassing. You're very embarrassing to the race of people. Okay? No one needs you there. You're serving no purpose. You're embarrassing. So now I'm back to the transgenders. So, on the flip side, someone told me that this is a transgender woman. Now I have a problem with that. You are not a woman, my dear. You're a transgender. I don't care what they gave Bruce Jenner. Okay? You're not a woman. Just because you get your penis cut off and a vagina placed there does not make you a woman, because a vagina doesn't make me a woman. That's not the only thing that equates to a woman. See, it's something called a uterus. Some I like to call it a womb. But that thing right there. Oh, well, let me go a little further. And fallopian tubes, okay? Talk about ovaries. See, that, all of that down there included with the vagina, that's called a woman's reproductive system, okay? You do not possess that. You can get a vagina, but you still have some testes up in there. Right? Or some type of scrotum sac somewhere. May not be a sac, but there's an imprint in there, which still makes you a male. See my pelvic bone? The way it is shaped? It is made, okay, to carry and to bear children, to hold them, to nurture them, to breathe life. That's what a woman does. My titties, I know they look nice. Most people sit up there and they get breast implants. You think because you get titties, breast implants, that you're a woman. You're not. Because as sex crazed as this generation is, titties are not just for your pleasure. They are for feeding children. See, before formula was created, this is all babies had. Right? So this is what titties do. So you can have titties, transgender. But if you're not lactating, if you do not ovulate, you're not a woman. And you will never be a woman. Because naturally, you will never be able to give birth with that body. So you are not a woman. You are a transgender, which means you transitioned from one gender to another. But that does not make you a woman. Okay? Know what a woman is. Respect women. And know that this body that you so seek to have, you can look the part. You can walk the part. You can dress the part. And you can even try to talk the talk. But you cannot and will not ever be able to birth life and sustain life. So that makes you a transgender, not a woman.